Greetings everybody, I hope you're doing well today. Welcome to JustANormie channel. If you're new, please subscribe, like, and hit that notification button as I have videos that drop every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 3 a.m. PST. So let's begin. Today, I will be reviewing DUNE, what I liked and what I loved. Nothing I didn't like. As a normie, I don't consider myself a normie on this front. And why? I have read the DUNE books. My thoughts are that normies might not really enjoy this at all. It is indeed what many are claiming to be a slow burn. But Frank Herbert's DUNE series and books are not an easy read. I'm not saying that they're hard to read, but they kind of go on. And it's a little dry, and it can be, but it's not an attack on the author by any means and stuff. Even Starship Troopers is like that too. So it's these novelists that came up with these ideas during a different time, in the 1930s, 1940s. So the books are not easy read like either, and I'm just astonished and everywhere. I can't say it enough, nor will this review cover everything. I'm normally critical of the books being adapted, especially with areas I love. DUNE has been up and down battle to adapt. The way it was represented is exactly as I had seen or wanted it to see versus some of the past iterations or attempts. The different factions were shown to be alien, terrifying to an audience, and fiction. I will say that the story of DUNE is difficult to summarize. It is not an easy adaptation. While it has had several attempts, like I stated, that never caught on, while this seems and feels as if it is only half of the first book. I wonder if this DUNE, even though it is getting a sequel, will find its footing among fans and normies alike. I've always wondered if it would have been better to adapt a TV series as a movie format, in part that it is very much like a Game of Thrones type that revolves around the struggle for power between two noble houses, the Atreides and Harkonnens, centered on the desert planet of Arrakis, one faction designated by the Emperor to seek control. If you're unfamiliar with the background, let me give you a little bit here. Arrakis is the only known source of spice, the most valuable substance in the universe, but it is necessary for interstellar space navigation and also facilitates extension of human lifespan. The Harkonnens, who ruled Arrakis for decades until Emperor Shaddad IV, ruler of the known universe, ordered them to transfer the Atreides brutally oppress the native freeman people. Paul Atreides, who gradually becomes the main character of the story, is the heir of Atreides leader Duke Leto, played by the great Oscar Isaac. He is gradually revealed to have vast psychiatric powers that, combined with the support of the freemen, might eventually enable him to overthrow the establishment political order. It is a very interesting concept. This latest iteration is so well done. The visuals to the acting to the ships, the struggle, the flashes, the future and past really sucked me into it. Not only the actors, the special effects, as I stated, were just beyond words. The pacing of the movie was great, and I was concerned, as I've heard from others, that it lingered on. But I felt it was well paced. As a reader that hasn't read the books in almost 15-20 years, they truly did such a great job of capturing the plot and the book's essence. And I'm even thinking about going back and reading the books again now. I can't say it enough how much I felt like I was immersed in the movie as I was when I read the books. While it is hard to read in the books, how the political messaging was done is so well. Politics is generally not an easy thing to bring across. It was so easy going setting, while also coming across so well and manipulating the nature of the political authority. And while you get that in the book per se, the power of the luring of the great houses, you get a very subtle undertone that is not in your face when it comes to political situations, especially with Hollywood, because they're so out of touch when it comes to politics and how to make it work in their movies. Part 1, which is the first movie, because they only got greenlit for Part 2, goes on for over 2.5 hours. Covers only slightly more than half the book. It therefore conveys more of the plot on the 1984 David Lynch movie. But some things did end up getting cut. The Harkonians, the Baron, especially his meta-advisor Peta de Varys, Atreides, Menta Thurfer Hawat, Atreides house physician Dr. Wallagot Hugh, and to the lesser extent, Atreides military leader Gurney Halleck, all get the short end of the stick, which I understand that. But Villeneuve had only so much he could do, and I think he did it very well. And you know what, too, for the little time that we had those people on the screen, I actually cared for them, and when they were gone, it sucked. It really did. Much of this, like I said, is unavoidable, but people who read the books will feel some of these losses keenly. You get a sense of loss of these characters in the movie. It might not come across as such, and it might be because I am a reader, but I have to say all of it was well done. However, in looking at the actor that plays Paul, very well done by the actor. I have seen him in other things. I didn't care for him. But this role of Paul, I felt Paul from the books to the screen. His mother and that unique background story that no one seems to be talking about. That Paul is the Messiah. To the woman, that is not the wife of the father of Paul, but instead is a concubine, which I have always felt this strange concubine situation interesting as I had read so long ago. However, another intriguing character that I felt a true loss was that of Duncan Idaho. Another key Atreides officer, which I loved the character, and I got the impression that he was not dead in the end. I had thought I had seen him with the Freeman character, watching as Paul and his mother traverse their way through the sands against and attempting to locate the Freeman. Perhaps it was a vision. And all that. The way that Villeneuve is able to bring forth what he did in depicting the situation of gaining the economic importance across the audience was so well done, which is not an easy feat anymore. But he seems to be able to also get across the politics, society of the empire. Iraq is so well done, using very limited screen time to get the full picture across. I felt was very well done. Any other director, I don't think they could have pulled it off. Another thing to mention is viewers that have never read the books may be confused is why this far future high-tech society has so little in terms of computers, artificial intelligence, and why they use blades so much more than missile weapons. The answer to the question conveyed in the books is society rejection of most artificial intelligence as a result of the Butlerian Jihad, a war against powerful AI that had begun to dominate humans. And the answer to the second, as described in the books, is the widespread use of shields that make missile weapons ineffective in most situations, which I kind of like it and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? Taking the technology out of it and stuff, I think it really grounds the movie and DUNE in general and stuff like that. You know, they've got these powerful vessels and alternative tech and stuff like that, kind of like an offensive weapons system per se, you know what I'm saying, but with a realism that's very grounded, which I really, really appreciate. I don't know how you feel about that, but I liked it. In turning back to the main character of Paul, his mother has conveyed this destiny to him, but in the books he is far more conflicted about his destiny. It might be in part to the pacing of the movie that he did, because he seems more ready, more focused to embrace the role of the leader, the freeman, eventually the empire itself, but you get that feeling of it being so far away Even though he embraces that his destiny early on, it was made out to make Paul some type of savior or messiah, in which he is in the books and will in the future, but you don't get that impression at all in the movies. It seems to be kind of weird to explain. So, as to the gender swap situation, Dr. Elliot Keynes, a half-Freeman ecologist who represents imperial interests on the planet, but is also secretly a Freeman leader, which didn't bother me. Nobody's even talking about, really. Matter of fact, I completely forgot about it. The actress played it so well. Now that in Villeneuve's downplaying the profound sexism of Freeman society, just as it is, the Imperials are just as sexist too, which it shows how it is, but not at the same degree. It is very subtle in the movie. Because of the point at which this movie breaks off, we only spend a short time among the Freemen, mostly just maybe 15-20 minutes of the movie or so. We will likely see much more of their culture in part 2. Still, what we do see of the Freemen is more than enough for viewers to think of them as analogs to Arab Muslims in a lot of ways, which it does and stuff. I'm very familiar with it because I've studied the Muslim world, Arab society, Islam, stuff like that. So, due to my old work. So, in addition, it is a mistake to assume that the point of the story is to excel the native culture of the Freemen. The praise their resistance to oppression, while the Freemen are indeed oppressed by the Halconians and the other outworlders. Herbert makes it clear that their society is also deeply oppressive and hierarchy. Also, much of the religion ideology is the product of outside manipulation intended to prepare the way for Paul's ascension to the status of charismatic religious and political leader. This is why I don't think that this is a good format for a movie. Unless we're going to have a complete trilogy, you know what I'm saying? Because I can't see this being wrapped up in 3 movies. What is implied is the grip of ruling power, excuse me, over a people. The manipulation Herbert does go in to suggest that everything would be fine indeed, even through the eyes of Freeman culture were appropriately restored and planet freed of colonialism. Yes, you can see the parallels of such an implication. But it's a story about economics resources. Some of our oldest history is told in the way and happens in the same way. But neither is this a simple story of a good native population battling evil colonialists. On the contrary, both sides are just as evil. While implicitly condemning that of manipulation, Herbert does not suggest that everything would be fine on Arrakis if only the authentic Freeman culture were restored, and the planet freed of colonialism. Much of the contrary, in fact, Paul is not a white savior either, and indeed is not the hero of the story at all. But neither is this simple story of good indigenous people battling evil colonialists either. So that wraps up my review. I am sorry that it's almost 15 minutes long. It is my apologies. But let me know what you think down below. My apologies for the sneezing and all that. I couldn't help it. Let me know what you think down below. Like, subscribe, and share my content. It helps the channel grow greatly. Take care, everybody. I want to know what your thoughts are down below. If you saw it, did you like it? Let me know. Take care, everybody. Peace out.